Cancer, welcome back for your twin flame update. Those of you who are new, a very warm welcome. Those of you who are returning, thank you. And if you're needing a booking, the link is below, as well as the new channel that's going to be launched as of January the 1st. Now, I have pulled the cards ahead of time, but the last recording I did was interrupted, which was a blessing in disguise because I gained a lot more insight connected to this Cancerian divine masculine. Now, there's a frequency of something that transpired in your life that happened a long time ago. And there's a few cards that are directly confirming that factor. Now, past tense frequency way before this dynamic directly happened, of where you were trying to get out of conflict in your life, you did become accustomed to an aspect of conflict, and it might have been your opinion of yourself, people's other opinions of you, to a point that it's almost like it became the status quo. It was like, this is what it is, sort of like making out that it was all BS, but at the same time, it directly impacting you. And after a while, that frequency became very, very heavy. During that time of dealing with the conflict, it could have been with family, with siblings, with co-workers, partners, life hurdles. It all was a topple effect, so to speak. There was a lot on your plate. It could have been 5 direct individuals you were dealing with very separately to yourself. It could have been 4, or it could be 5 direct time frames in your life. Could have been siblings, children, or direct 5 separate kind of scenarios. You're really not coping with the communication at the moment. Now, the interesting thing is there appears to have been a catalyst to really have a toppling effect of all what that had compiled on you. And what's coming through, which I'll do the read, but it is the death of a person that really had been the catalyst to this direct connection in your life, becoming even more so compiled, but also a blessing in disguise. Not that you will see it like that during the time, obviously, but after the fact, you doing the internal work in that factor and having this epiphany moment that obviously that person was a very important person for you. They gave you a lot of strength. Now, they're spiritually actually protecting you currently right now to help you move through this aspect of adversity. And it may be that things they said to you in the past start playing over in your mind, where you're reshaping the opinion of yourself through this person's opinion of you, who is a much healthier version than the other people around you currently, or the general dynamic of the conflict that you're dealing with. This is in relation to a person who's passed over, okay? Now, again, there are 3 things coming through on the Strength card, which I'm being shown. There might have been 3 key individuals in a family dynamic, but this parent figure looked at you as the quieter one. Look at how she's touching the head, okay? Seeing all the others in beauty, but it's more I'm feeling your process of evolution. You didn't see the potential here of this. They saw that, and perhaps your feminine is mirroring this individual that had passed over. That the light, the intuitive aspect of you, I hope you can see it, which is you evolving spiritually to be a masculine king and taking your power back and realizing your potential. Now, this passed over loved one is the one who is trying to show you the light, and you're not listening. You need to listen to your thoughts. Now, when people pass over, the interesting thing is many of us say, oh, that's all BS. The thing is, when we want to communicate with our loved ones who have passed over, or they're directly communicating with us, it happens in various forms. It can be to the point where we're hearing a synchronistic song they used to love, we're doing things, or we're repeating over something they would have said in a given situation, which is their talk entering our mindset, giving us the direct, hey, that's what we would do. Now, again, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, but this is a repeating thing coming through, a very heavy theme that's coming through connected to this loved one who's passed over. The date of their passing might have been another date's coming up. Now, it might have been their wedding anniversary or something to that degree, but there is another date coming up and they're very heavily around you and they want you to deal with that conflict. It might be connected to the other person in the family and them showing that that is the key to the conflict in life. Moving forward into your future, it might be joining the dots. It can also be joint ventures. It can be you coming into a whole place where you can feel connected, an interconnection with people who are who you are today, not who you were yesterday, because you're really evolving through this frequency. And even the stuck energy is old frequency. You know, we never do stay the same. Our soul tends to evolve before our body's caught up. So we have this knowingness in our mind that we're evolving, and an internal hunch, but it does mean a 3D change externally. Whatever that means, you know, in your opinion, if you feel that you need to directly change in order to get your life where you physically feel it's strong, it's stable, and it has the opinion of this loved one that has passed over. But this loved one who passed over is an important figure to you, so you do care about their opinion. Moving into it, it's joining with another person, what you feel their opinion could be. It could be with a soulmate, it could be with a twin. But again, it's moving to a point where there's balance and connections. And at the moment, the frequency coming through in your read directly is showing there's no balance. There's no support. There's no correct foundation. It feels like the pause button's being pushed and it's been there for a long time. Now, within this movement forward and the joining, it is connected to a person from the past that perhaps you don't have children with, for some of you, or that, you know, it has a potential to reach its maturity. You know, you're coming out of sadness about this, and whatever you're leaving behind, you're not going to be sad about. It's almost like it, again, same scenario I was describing with the soul. The soul evolves, the body then catches up. We have a realization nothing is working in a particular dynamic, we then counteract and deal with it directly. So same situation through life. Somebody said to me years ago, I was dealing with conflict and they said, you've actually already checked out. 3D wise, I hadn't, of a workplace dynamic, but at an emotional level, I was still there. At a spiritual level, very much wavering because I had evolved beyond, it wasn't working for me spiritually. Now, how others are directly influencing you. They see the person you can be. They see the complete potential of who you can be. However, it could be that a very close friend is trying to give you guidance. It can be the light that the feminine sees you in, and that they feel this, you know, something needs to end and die, like a spiritual death, in order to evolve into the new person who you actually have always been. And it's not a perfect frequency. It's an ownership of who you spiritually are without expectations of your twin or other people who you can potentially be to a whole. The movement forward is directly connected to a false start, really tying up the loose ends so you can go back and you can deal with something that had that false start, that didn't see the end of that journey. And again, this is feeling more so it is on your twin side. I won't say signs because I feel this is a collective energy read. How you're looking at your twin, the feminine, okay? You feel in the past, the way they were looking at things was they were manipulated. You know, there weren't gifts given to them, or they weren't treated in a balanced, fair manner. You know, the give and take in the connection wasn't up to par, and they became aware of this factor and reacted in accordance. There was a lot of anger and perhaps fights during the separation for some of you. But directly speaking, it's unfinished. You know, it hasn't died, it's unfinished. In their current position, you may be feeling that they've really got their walls up, that they're very strict within the situation. However, you do feel as though they may not, you know, be open to love due to the pain that they've gone through, or that you're hoping they don't actually have another person. You're also wondering whether they've lost the faith within this connection. moving forward, you're hoping there can be this romantic gesture and communication, or, you know, in some shape or form, it's almost like you want confirmation that they've failed you, that this conflict that you've had was like a curse and it could only be happening to you, that they've abandoned you. And it's so vice versa. And when I say that, it's a belief system. It isn't a reality base, but we can actually manifest these things in. So we need to be very cautious about what our fear-based frequencies are and what we believe our entitlement or our worthiness is. And we can change that. We all change. We don't want to, but we all do. Okay, so the feelings towards the situation in your life are that there are troubles, okay, but that it is going to be an end of a cycle. And I'm hearing it's not over till the fat lady sings. So you are giving it its death, its spiritual death, which is your soul death, your spiritual transformation, the shedding of the skin, as well as moving in a direction that you feel, you know, cutting to the chase and moving in a different direction, leaving an energy of a partnership behind that no longer served you. And for some of you, it could be two individuals, two pathways that mirrored each other, moving away from that and having a realization. What you are seeing at the moment is a lot of maybe gossip and not feeling a great frequency, perhaps about yourself or the path, or just in general around you. And I'm feeling it's more to do with an energy of whom you were with or who you are with currently. But you are coming out of that frequency of caring, you know, what they're saying, what their opinions are, because regardless, it's an old frequency. Anything that's been shown to you is that your belief system? You know, remember what this person said about you, that we all change. You can come out of this frequency. Okay, what you wish to see change. Not feeling vulnerable. Wouldn't we all like to feel that? You want to move away from the vulnerability, and it might be your financial position, it might be the bullying or the narcissistic frequencies you're currently living in, to do with people around you or situations around you, or the opinions that are talking in your mind of yourself. Your intentions dealing with this current 3D situation with your twin is to address the love triangle, or the energy that you've spread elsewhere, and the lack of blessings that were given or received, and the way in which you were reacting due to past tense frequencies even prior to twin, and to create a balance and a truce and a judgment of a decision that you've made. Now, the actions you're going to be taking is you may actually step away from this energy, and it's come up a few times. Right? Third party situation, death of a relationship, moving away from that to then get to the point where you can gain the clarity. But I feel, especially with other cards that are here, which I'll show you, in your love domain, you're feeling like you're in a prison. And again, you know, when I did do the read before, what was coming through, which is another message, is very much the ashes of a person who's passed over. You know, they were with you during a time of mental conflict, you know, imprisonment, spiritual imprisonment, 3D imprisonment. But regardless, this person who passed over, the ashes, the urn, they know your strength and they know what you're made of. So maybe you're coming to a place where if you are in a karmic relationship or a relationship that doesn't feel great for you personally, and you've come to that state where you're feeling, I'm done with this conflict, I can't see light at the end of the tunnel, I'm suffocating here, and especially with the way my throat is, you know, psychically speaking, it's like a panic attack. Be careful of your heart. Again, I'm not a doctor. It feels more panic attack, where you're feeling muted to talk, like you can't talk, you can't breathe, you're being followed, you're put in a prison. And usually when I get this card, it can be mental prison, but I feel physical prison, like this person suffocates you. They really control every dynamic of your thinking, your eating, what are you doing, what time are you going to bed. It just feels micromanaged to the max. It's suffocating. You want to be yourself and you feel you can't be. But I feel a calmer frequency where you're needing this quiet time. So even if this means you go into the shower and you grab some salts from the kitchen and wash, it can actually help cleanse you and protect you from spiritual attacks from people. As well as if you take your shoes off and walk on the dirt, that's going to really ground you if you can do some breathing exercises. How you feel other people are influencing the feminine. You feel for the feminine she has had a change for the better. You are wanting to directly visit, and it might be that you have done drive-bys or you wish to physically visit them, or you're sending friends to check on how the feminine frequency is doing. What you feel the movement's going to be is to deal with the aspect of any betrayals that have happened and make a truce where there's no enemy frequency coming through. Really clarify on what went on, why you got to a place spiritually that this occurred, so you can tie up the actual energy and finalize that karmic cycle. At a financial level for you, I do feel an energy of a job coming through and a time frame, and money in its very fresh new energy coming through. So it might be, you may not be seeing it right now, but at a financial level there is going to be movement. Also, I do feel money is going out connected to children. It could be alimony, maintenance, school, and in your love life, like I said, prison card, feeling trapped, joy, lack of consistency, up in your head, sadness about twin. Okay, moving forward, you want to come away from the false frequency. That is your path forward, a knowing, and not communicating that you're doing this, going into hermit mode. Okay, connected to possible outcomes. Separation from past energy, separation from pain, and dealing with the direct separation. You have chosen who you wish to be committed to, and at the moment where you currently are at, I don't feel the frequency of that being there. I feel it's a temporary energy. You're trying to avoid misfortune. You're being cautious how you deal with it, but I do feel it will happen very quickly, connected to a sweetheart that you're dealing with. Again, it can go both sides. You understand what I'm saying. Okay, connected to contact, you're wanting to make a balance or a truce during the Venus cycle. So I do feel during this month, when it can be Venus direct, I feel you're going to be very direct in your communication. Now, be mindful of your communication as of the 16th. You know, you're not sure in this communication if you're going to have reunion. And that's what can be really making you nervous, because you need to gain some room in your heart. You're wondering whether they've got room in their heart for this connection, because you feel you're being harsh on yourself. You feel you haven't evolved yet. Okay, what's going on with feminine? As I said, in the past, it felt there was sort of like an imbalance in the connection. For them personally, yes, they may have been in anger. They also feel it's not over. It was unfinished. They may be coming across as strict, but this I feel is their frequency towards themselves and on protective mode, due to something not coming through the way it was supposed to in the connection with you, and, you know, it not being given, basically. But I do feel that in the future there is possibility of communication connected to love. At a financial level, they're working on something and resurrect it. You know, emotionally, they wish to resurrect something from the dead. So it could be the direct connection. They're hoping there is a potential for this. They don't wish to lose it, but they feel they had. So they're in confusion, and you guys are both mirroring each other. But they're hoping for unexpected joy. Within love, they do know love will come. They're hoping where it will come from for many of them. You may even be thinking that the feminine is moving on, especially with this frequency coming here, and especially in the home domain, you know, not feeling at home, not feeling grounded, unsure if they even live at the location they're going to, or whether they're moving or not, or whether they're just having fun and there is a potential there for meeting someone at work for some of them. And that will make you unhappy. Okay, any additional messages for Cancer? Come through with the gifts of communication, or in general. Before you're old. I think Divine Feminines would agree with that. Yeah, open the communication. Okay, that's 3 cards. It's a gift to communicate sooner rather than later. Okay, love and light. See you during the month.